Thanks for watching 7 Million Bikes, a Vietnam podcast. My name's Neil Mackay and I'm your host. This is only the second episode of a Vietnam podcast on YouTube. For the past 6 seasons, we've been an audio-only podcast, so you may have been listening before on Google, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. We're back in another lockdown here in Saigon, so that means I can't do any more interviews in the studio. So they're all going to be recorded on Zoom for now, which means I can record the interviews and then upload the videos for YouTube for you to watch. Our first episode on YouTube was last week with Sarah and Win, so make sure you check that out if you haven't already. You can find all 6 seasons of a Vietnam podcast for free wherever you get your podcasts from. But I'm excited to tell you from now on, we'll also be filming all episodes as well. So even when we're back in person and out of lockdown, if you enjoy watching on YouTube, you still can. Make sure you click the subscribe button. You know where it is. I think it's about here somewhere. And then also turn on the notifications so you don't miss an episode. You can also follow 7 Million Bikes on Facebook and Instagram. So look down below and you'll find the link so you can follow us. If you do enjoy this content, then please support us if you can. It will always be available for free, but it isn't free to make. You can become a member of a Vietnam podcast on Patreon, where you'll get awesome member benefits like episodes a day early and bonus content, as well as free tickets to comedy shows in Saigon and a whole bunch of other benefits that you can check out. Or if you just want to buy me a coffee or a beer, go to ko-fi.com. That's ko-fi.com. The link's below, and you can do that there. It's always the best when I wake up in the morning to see that someone from the other side of the world or within Vietnam has left me a message saying how much they've enjoyed the show and that they want me to enjoy a drink. So thank you very much to everyone who's done that so far. Thank you to all of our existing Patreon members, Alistair, Zion and Brandon. And again, everyone else who's already sent me a coffee or a beer. Thank you for watching another episode of 7 Million Bikes, a Vietnam podcast. My name is Neil Mackay and I'm your host. My guest today is a French tattoo artist. She left France at 18 to live in Ireland, where she learned English. She studied graphic design in Barcelona, then kept on traveling before finding herself eventually in Saigon. My guest today is Camille Ink. Thank you for joining us today, Camille.
Thank you for inviting me.
So we're right now stuck under Directive 16 in Saigon. For anyone who's not in Saigon, that is basically you can't leave the house apart from essential medicines and groceries, right? So how's lockdown life going for you and Yuki?
Pretty boring. I'm glad she's with me at least, because otherwise it would be awful. But yeah, I mean, we have plenty of wine and I still take appointments with customers online so they can explain what tattoos they want so I can design it. So I'm still drawing. Yeah. And also I still make a print on clothes. From the last lockdown, I started to do serigraphy, doing podcast. Are you Irish as well?
No.
No?
Okay, so thanks for joining us today, Camille. This podcast is finished. I'm from Scotland.
Sorry. Sorry. I thought you had a similar accent.
It's okay. They are very, very similar. It's okay. You're from Switzerland, right?
No, I'm from France. But I lived in Ireland.
And you couldn't tell that.
I can do a very good imitation.
Okay, please do.
For fuck's sake, don't I tell you?
That's not too bad. There's a guest that's been on the show and a friend of the show, Nia Mai, sorry, mispronouncing your name there. And he's Vietnamese but based in Ireland, and he can do a pretty good Irish accent as well. So if you go back and listen to a previous episode, you can hear that.
I'll check that.
So tell me a bit about your background then. So you started off life in France. You're French.
Yes.
Whereabouts in France are you from? What was that like growing up?
From Le Mans. It's a small town in the northwest between Paris and Brittany. We have the 24-hour car race.
Okay. Le Mans.
Maybe you know about it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I was born there. My parents are gay. So I mean, my dad is gay, and I'm from a how do you call it in English? Gay family? I don't know.
I don't know what the
Anyway,
what the phrase
so
would be.
I'm very lucky. They're very nice people, and they gave me the will to travel. Since I was a kid, they took me traveling, and I haven't stopped.
That's awesome. Well, so
Yeah.
that's super interesting. I don't know your age, and I'll be a gentleman, and I won't ask your age, but you.
I can tell you, I'm 34.
Awesome. So similar age to me, and so I would imagine then, being of our generation, your parents being gay and coming from a gay family, as you put it, would have been
in the countryside. It was
in the
not easy for them.
countryside. Oh my goodness! So
I
what
mean,
was that
not
like
the
then?
countryside, but like a small town. So yeah, it was not easy for them. They told me later, maybe when I was 18, they really told me like how hard it was, because they had a restaurant, my mom and my aunt, and people will tell them like, oh, don't do that, you cannot do that, blah blah blah. Even their own parents, and they still did it, and they're happy that they did, and me too.
Yeah. So what was the family dynamic then?
But it was a bit similar, as if like how do you call it, like a divorced family. So I would spend my week with my mom in the city, go to school, and on the weekends my dad, he had a farm and he was making goat cheese, and I would go there in the weekend. So I was quite super lucky. I had a great childhood.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And so this was your biological father and biological mother?
Yeah.
And then what? So then they both, were they out before they had you? Was this the?
Yes. Actually, what happened is my mom, she went to university, and she fell in love with the sister of my dad. And
Wait.
after
your dad's sister?
Yes.
Okay.
My dad's sister is a lesbian, and so she had a relationship with my mom. And after 10 years together, they decided to have me. And my dad was gay already, and he also wanted to have a kid. So it's like I have 3 parents.
Wow.
So I'm very lucky. They really wanted to have me.
That's so amazing. But so for you then, growing up, did that feel different? Like, because you saw other children with, 2 parents, maybe still married or whatnot. How was that?
Not really. For me, it was. I knew that it was a secret. I should not tell anybody. But I was always. They were always very transparent about it, and they were telling me like, yeah, blah blah blah. Your dad is gay, but you don't need to tell your friend. Later, when you're older, people will understand, and then you can tell them. Yeah, that was fine. I got bullied sometime when I was young, but who didn't?
I was just about to say, who didn't? I got bullied as well, right? It doesn't matter what the reason is. It was gonna happen anyway, right?
Always find the reason.
I got bullied for the longest time. Do you remember the movie? Oh, the movie The Shining, right? And then there was the little kid in that movie was called Damien. And for some reason, someone in my school said that I looked like Damien from The Shining. So that just stuck for like, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years. And they just knew it got under my skin. So they would just continually call me like Damien. And it's so stupid and it's so hurtful. But yeah. So I'm not putting down the fact that you were bullied. I think it's funny that you.
No, my story is kind of funny because I was on holiday camp. And so the kids find out my dad was gay. And then they were like, your dad is gay, blah, 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 bullying me. And then I had one friend. And also, I had forgotten to put my underwear in my bag. So my dad, he drove like 300 kilometers to bring me underwear. And my only friend, she would tell me, it's not true. Your dad is not gay. He's very nice. He brought you your underwear. And I was like, yeah, I knew my dad was gay. But for them, it was just an insult. They didn't know even what it meant.
And when did you eventually then drop the bomb on her and be like, oh, actually, you were wrong. He is gay?
No, I didn't. I didn't talk to people. I was very shy. And being bullied as well. And I was calling my family every day telling them, please come and pick me up, but I would never say why. And maybe a few years later, they were like, oh, you're going to go to holiday camp. And I was like, what holiday camp? And they told me, yeah, the same like you went. And I was like, no. And this time I told them the truth and they cried. They were like, what, Camille? Like, why don't you tell us? And blah, blah. And I was like, I don't want you to think I was ashamed of my dad or something. I don't know, kids are weird. I should have said something, but I didn't. So,
I mean, how old were you at the time?
Maybe 8.
Yeah, I don't think you can hold yourself too accountable for not sticking up for your parents as an 8-year-old. That's difficult.
Yeah.
So you said they ignited your passion for traveling. So what was it that your parents did that gave you that passion?
Déjà, I had a cousin living in Africa when I was young, and they took me there to travel. And since the 90s or something, after the Cambodia war, my mom and my aunt, they were giving money to association to help some kids in Cambodia, and I had to write letter to this kid, and the kid would write letter, and somebody would translate. It was the association, and they always told me if I graduate, somebody's
classic. Is this
Vietnamese? I hope they're not gonna stay too long.
What song is it?
Okay. Vietnamese.
Oh.
I'm not sure what this is about. Anyway, what was I saying?
I don't know either. You were saying you were writing letters to the child in the Ivory Coast. Do you know
yes.
what?
So voilà.
Camilo, this is perfect though. So one of our biggest fans, our listener, Patreon member Zion Johnson, has commented to me that he misses the earlier days of the podcast. So in the beginning, the first few seasons of the podcast, I would record in my front room. And so you would often hear noise in the background, like construction and honking. But now over the last couple of seasons, we've moved, we're in like a studio now, and the sound quality has increased and improved. But it's quite funny because he said a couple of times that he misses the kind of old days when it's the bit of the sound of Vietnam in the background. So don't worry about the Vietnam oi in the background. Zion Johnson will be listening to this, and he'll be so happy right now. So Zion, I hope you enjoyed that.
I hope you enjoyed that. It's for you.
Passion for traveling. That's where we were. You have a passion.
Yes, yes. So that's what. So my family. So they always told me that if I graduate, they will take me to meet this little girl in Cambodia. And so I graduated when I was 17, and so they took me to Cambodia. Vietnam, actually, we traveled both, and it was a big shock for me, like because I mean I was very privileged, and I didn't realize it before. And coming to Vietnam and seeing the poverty, seeing the poor kids, the poor people, and everybody seemed so happy as well. They were always smiling. I mean, it was very like, I don't know. I would cry. I was crying every day, just like handicapped kid. And I don't know. After the war, it was much harder, I think. Like the scene, the general scene, the people and everything. So yeah, I mean, and after that, then I turned 18, and I got into National Art School, Beaux-Arts, how do you call it? Fine art. I got into fine art, and at the same time, my aunt had a nightclub, so I was working in the nightclub in the weekend, saving money to go travel to India. So that was my first real travel when I was like 8. I turned 19 there, I think. I turned 19 there in India with my friend, 2 girls, 1 month. It was crazy.
Well, tell me more about India, because I just mentioned this in the last episode, the interview I did with Michael Brzezowski, that I revealed that I have no interest in going to India. And just it just terrifies me, to be honest, just mostly because everyone gets sick. But also there are some bad stories about India, which I'm sure are in the
But there is good stories as well. It's a
I know,
country.
I'm sure the bad
food
stories
is amazing. I mean, I was there, I got sick, obviously, and I lost 10 kilo in 1 month.
See,
Best
that's
diet ever. Like, you see the photo of me, nobody recognizes me. I have one in my room, and sometimes people are like, hey, who's this girl? It's like, it's me. Like, yeah, best diet ever. If you want to lose some weight, just go there, like eat some whatever, street food, fancy restaurant. Actually, fancy restaurants are worst.
Really?
Usually, yeah, because I mean, not fancy, but if you have a beautiful place, and then the tourists are gonna come anyway, you know, so they don't really care about the quality of the food. When like the street food is pretty safe, I think, because the people buy it every day, you know, the regular people that live there. So yeah, my advice would be careful of the beautiful touristy place.
Interesting.
That's how I got sick. But that was 15 years ago, so I don't really can talk so much about India, you know, because my experience is like,
Yeah.
it's probably changed a lot.
But that must have been some experience. You said 18, that you turned 19 when you were there. To go to India
Yeah, I was
at that age.
I was reckless. I had no idea. My family for 1 year, like every day they tell me, you cannot do this when you're there, you cannot do that, blah blah blah, you know, like, it's crazy. But
You
I
did it
didn't
all.
know. I was not scared of anything back then, so I did it anyway.
One of the lockdown shows that we've been watching is The Serpent. Have you been watching that? Or have you watched that?
The what?
The Serpent.
Ah, yes. Actually, my mom, I love murder show. Like that's mostly what we watch at home in my mom's house. All day, every day, there is like channel. You change the channel. There is another. Even she have now a murder show channel. So anyway, and and I saw The Serpent, and I was a bit scared because I was like, I don't want to watch it alone because it's a bit too close to home. And then my mom, she was like, no, you should watch it. So I watched it, and wow, fuck.
It's
So
good,
crazy.
right? Yeah, it's so crazy.
Oh la la, so crazy, all those people. Oh la la. It gives me goosebumps to think about it because I mean, it could totally happen to anybody.
Yeah, right. If anyone hasn't watched it, there's a Netflix recommendation, The Serpent. Yeah, because it's one of these movies or TV shows as well, because it's based on a true story. And then, of course, I don't know about you, but when you watch these true stories, do you go and look, like Google it afterwards to find out like what really happened?
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh, that's
or during the show, I do it.
You do it during the show? Yeah, I'm patient. I will wait till the end. I don't want to spoil it. So I'll wait till the end and look up what happened. But so that's what gives me the goosebumps, is the fact that as I'm watching it and I'm like, this is all true. Like this really happened.
Yeah. And nobody could do anything. I mean, you know, like the people went to the embassy and they're like,
yeah.
You know, like,
well, let's not give any spoilers for anyone if they've not seen it. Well, let's just quickly diverse, right? I don't like talking about lockdown and all of that stuff, but let's give a quick go through Netflix and what we're watching during lockdown, okay? But you could watch this at any time because it's Netflix. So give us your lockdown Netflix shows.
Lockdown Netflix show. 10%, I would say.
No, but what shows are you watching?
The show is called 10%, but maybe it's another name it's French, so maybe it's called Call My Agent or something like this.
Okay, I don't know this.
So this show is very good. Otherwise, I downloaded a movie that's amazing called The King of Staten Island. I don't know if you watched it. It's very good. Very, very good. I totally recommend it. Like, it's maybe the best movie of last year for me, in my opinion, because it's very original and it's nice.
Check it out.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed to say that we've made our way through Love Island USA, Love Island Australia, Too Hot to Handle season 2.
Yeah, I watched that as well. It's kind of I like.
And I don't know about you, but similar to I look up what happened in the movie after the movie or the TV show to see what happened. I don't know about you, with these reality TV shows, once it's finished, that we look up the couples to see who's made it and who's still
Yeah,
together
exhaustive. Yeah.
and get all the gossip. I've noticed my standards for television just drops during
Oh
lockdown.
yeah. Oh yeah. My standards for a lot of things have dropped. Yeah. I had to make my own bread because how to say the bakery, I went there and it's closed.
Hmm.
And I was like, fuck my life, because I don't want to go to supermarket because I'm scared of corona. As I told you, I have chronic bronchitis. So yeah, going to big supermarket with lots of people, I don't really want. So I haven't been to a real supermarket for like 2 months. But you know, there is all the small shop in Vietnam. We're lucky. There is all the small family shop that you can buy food from, but they're closed as well, and the bakery is closed. So I was like, fuck. So I made my own bread, and yeah, it's not amazing. I hope the quarantine will end soon.
Did you say it's not amazing?
It's not amazing. It's getting better. I made some more, and it's better than the first batch. But I mean, I'm not as French as the French bread, I guess.
And what about cheese? Do you have a healthy supply of French cheese?
I have some cheese as well. Actually, I tried to be vegan, but the lockdown, I was like, okay, that's enough. Because for a few months, I watched a show on Netflix actually about being vegan, and I thought, oh, I should try. So I've been trying, but now with the lockdown, I was like, I need some like bechamel and some cheese, otherwise I'm gonna die. So I cheated my vegan diet, and I've been making gratin, and it's pretty good.
Well, tomorrow is going to be oh, there's the noise in the background for you, Zion, if you can hear it.
Yeah, even little birds and everything.
Tomorrow will be my 10-year anniversary with my wife of when we first got together. So we've been married.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We've been married for 8 years, but tomorrow is 10 years since we've been together. And my point is, when we first met, I claimed that I was a vegan, which I thought I was, but still to this day, my wife won't let me forget that I was eating cheese and spinach rolls, which are very popular in Australia, almost on the daily. And I don't remember this, but apparently I was eating seafood Subway as well, but I was still claiming that I was a vegan. So I was a vegetarian.
I'm a fake vegan. I'm just, my vegan is at home. I cook for myself. I will only buy vegan stuff, usually. But maybe if I go out, if my friend is cooking, I eat anything. I just don't eat red meat. I've never really.
No, so what was Ireland like? Tell me a bit about life in Ireland. Was there?
Oh, it was amazing. I was living in Galway, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I was living in Galway. At the time, I didn't speak any English, so I had to learn. I got a job at a bakery, so I was selling like pastry. And I stayed there for a year, and I put on maybe 10-15 kilos. When I came back, my mom didn't recognize me when I arrived. Because also, you know, I had so much clothes, and they wanted me to pay a lot of money, so I put them all on top of each other. And so I was like maybe, I don't know, 7 pants, because at the time, you know, baggy pants were like fashionable. So it was easy to wear them on top of each other. So I had all those pants, all those things, and like a bunch of hats and scarf and everything like that I could on me, so I didn't have to pay the extra luggage. And yeah, my mom, I was in front of her, and she was still looking for me.
I've done the exact same thing as well. I can't remember where I was traveling from, maybe the US back to Scotland. Same thing. I was quite young. I hadn't traveled very much at that point. I was still quite young, and I didn't even realize about like baggage limits and things like this. So I got to the counter, put my bag down, and they just kind of looked at me like, "What? This is like, I think it must have been 40 kgs. I don't know what it was, but a lot, right?" So I did the same thing. I went to the bathroom, and what it was, I was moving between countries. That's why I had more stuff. And so I had like, you know, shoulder bags, like messenger bags. I had 2 of them in my suitcase. I had shoes, I had jeans, I had a big winter coat. Like I had so much stuff. So I filled the messenger bags with the shoes, put on 2 pairs of jeans, a hoodie, I had this big green canva jacket, And then I managed to get it down to the weight, which I think was 30 kgs. And I walked back up to the counter, and the woman just couldn't believe that the suitcase was weighed enough. And then she looked up at me and just saw me with all these
All this
bags
clothes.
around me, and clothes on it. So then I had to I got to check my bag in, but then I had to walk through security, and every time I had to take off all these bags, take off my jacket, my shoes. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, it's such a nightmare. So I can relate to that. So what happened? So where did you go after Ireland then?
So after Ireland, I moved to Spain, in Barcelona, and after a few months, I found a school there, art school. So then I enrolled. It was very tough to do all the paper bullshit, but anyway, eventually I enrolled in the school. It was graphic design and advertising. So then I studied for 3 years. And after that, I worked in a magazine, in an art and music magazine in Barcelona as well. And after I went back to France for a bit, I tried to move back, but I was not happy. And my friend, he was always going to California to work in the weed industry. So I went there as well. And I did this for a few years, and I saved a lot of money. And with this money, I studied to tattoo. And later, I opened a tattoo studio. So,
did you say you worked in the weed industry?
Yes, the marijuana.
So did you learn Spanish? Sorry, while you were in school?
Yes. I studied actually, I learned Spanish and Catalan because my school was in Catalan.
Right.
So I had learned Spanish in school. So I was pretty bad at it, but I didn't know Catalan, so I had to learn as I was learning graphic design. So it was not easy.
So how many
languages? It was funny because I was living in Barcelona and I was I don't know, 24 or something at the time, and people were like, "Oh, you're so lucky, Barcelona, it's so cool." My life was just going to school and then going to my night job and then going to school and taking my dog out and going to school and go, no life for a while. So anyway, what were you going to say? Sorry.
I was going to say, how many languages do you speak?
French, English, and Spanish fluently. And Catalan, I haven't practiced in. I don't know if I can still understand. I hear it sometimes, even in Vietnam. Anyway, and I can also understand Italian and Portuguese, and I can also a little bit of Vietnamese. But, I'm not very good. I tried a lot, but it's my brain won't record.
Well, that makes me feel so good because we won't dwell on it because I talk about it nearly every episode, but I can't speak Vietnamese, and I'll be honest, I haven't really tried very hard. I'm just naturally not good at languages anyway. But the fact that someone like you that can speak so many languages still finds it difficult to even learn Vietnamese makes me feel better about myself. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, but because the language I can speak, they're all similar, they're all Latin based. English, French, Spanish. But Vietnamese, it's I tried to learn Chinese as well, and same results, no result.
I remember a couple of years ago, someone showed me a language tree, because you can trace back where languages come from, like you're saying, Latin languages and whatnot. And on this tree of languages, Vietnamese is out here. It's one of the most difficult languages to learn in the whole world. So that also makes me feel a bit better about myself. But there are some people like Mika,
I know,
friend who can speak it, and there's a whole bunch of other expats.
She's so good at it as well.
It's crazy. So it's obviously possible, but it's so hard.
But she put a lot of time in it, she almost every day she have classes, and she's always improving. Her English, her Vietnamese is good, but she always wants more. So she studies a lot.
That's the thing. It does take a lot of effort and time. And even just speaking just to the last episode with Michael Brzezowski, he's been here 20 years and he can only speak a little bit. And he's I just don't have the time now, because once you've been here for long enough and you have a full-time job and a full-time life, it's difficult to find because like you're saying with
Yeah, for
Mika,
sure.
she has to be dedicated, but she's doing amazing
Yeah,
because
for
she's
sure.
built a career because of it, which is incredible.
Yeah.
So she has that added motivation of, if I can speak Vietnamese well, it's going to be beneficial for my career. It'd probably be
Yeah,
better for
for
mine
sure.
as well, but I don't have the energy.
I mean, I think I met her about 4 years ago. And I mean, I can see like her Vietnamese have like
So how long have you
improved a
been in
lot.
Vietnam?
About 5 years, 6 years, 5.5.
Same as me then, yeah.
Same as you.
But just to go back,
Nice.
so what did you do then for the weed industry? So I have to ask about that. Or literally just cutting the bud off?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I was a bit of everything. Maybe sometimes watering, putting to dry, cutting.
Have you seen I can't remember the name of it right now.
Yeah, Murder Mountain.
What's that?
Murder Mountain.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah.
On Netflix. It's
yeah.
in the yeah.
It was there. That's where I was.
No
my
way.
Family, yeah. And my mom and my family, when they saw it, they were. I'm glad that was years after I didn't do this, because if they would have seen it before, they would never have let me go.
Holy
Obviously,
moly.
they didn't really know what I was doing, but yeah.
Okay, so anyone who hasn't seen this, it's a couple of years old now from Netflix. It's called Murder Mountain.
Yeah.
And it's
scary.
So it's this area of
But it's an area it is a dangerous area. I mean, a lot of people die, a lot of people disappear. It is a dangerous place for sure. Yeah.
So it's this place in like the west coast of America, like Oregon, is it?
It's in the north of California.
North of California.
Very, very north.
Right. Very
it's like
remote.
The Far West. What they call the Far West.
The Far West, mountains, forest, and they have these massive weed plantations.
It's beautiful. It's an amazing place. Like, even if maybe it's a bit tough if you're a tourist because it's a bit dangerous area as well. You don't want to go to places without being invited, kind of. But I mean, the place is like, wow, it's amazing, like the landscape, there is not so many people living there, and just a lot of like mountain and forest and wild animal. I've seen like skunk and like deers, puma, bears, like all kind of like, and they're just there, like it's, yeah. I love this place. It's so beautiful. Like the ocean is beautiful. It's so clean as well because there is no people to destroy the place, because people always litter every place, but there is not so many people there, so it's very beautiful and it's nice.
Now, I don't know how much you can tell us, but like, what was your experience like then there? Apart from the beauty of, in terms of related to the TV show called Murder Mountain.
Yeah. No. For me, it was different. I had a very different experience because I was lucky. My friend, I've been working there for 10 years when he took me there. So I was mostly going to work for family. It was like farmer. I didn't see like mafia or something. It was just like going to live with some family and work a lot, like 15 hours every day. And eventually, the last year, now I cannot do this anymore because the last year I worked and my hand was getting more and more painful, because you work so much. And I broke a tendon in my hand. So the last time I went to save money, so I could open a tattoo studio. And when I finished, I broke my tendon, so I could not use my hand for 6 months. So it was a big lesson for me to, like, you work so hard for something and then you cannot, you know what I mean? Like, what's a tattoo artist without a hand? So yeah, so that was very humbling. And now I'm more careful with my health before like trying to make money.
Well, I've thought about this recently in terms of even like a musician, and I know it has happened. I've seen like musicians have to maybe cancel a concert because they've broken an arm or a finger or something like that. But yeah, any of these jobs that you require dexterity or your fingers or your hands, and these things are so easy to break accidentally.
Yeah.
I would be, if I was like a super famous musician, I feel like I would be walking about with bubble wrap around me all the time, be terrified that I'm gonna fall
Or
and break
just
my arm.
insure it. If I was rich, I would insure my hand.
Oh well, these guys will
because I
absolutely have insurance.
because
Yeah.
because of all this, actually, I got told now I have arthritis.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm 34, so it's not really, it doesn't look good. But well, so yeah, I eat healthy, green food, and drink a lot of water. Well, that's all you can do, basically.
The fun stuff.
Yeah.
Well, so I have a problem with my voice, that I lose my voice quite often. There was about 10 years ago, actually, just when I met my wife, I did a sales job on the street, well, fundraising for charity. I've been doing it for 4 years. I worked it out. I talked to about 10,000 people a year on the street and train stations everywhere, and I managed a team. So lots of kind of yelling. And so eventually, like I suffered what lots of famous singers suffer from, like Adele's had it and a bunch of others. It's called nodules, which is it's like a callus on your vocal cords. And it means that you can't speak. There we go. We got you.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Vicky was coming and okay. No, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Sorry about that. Little technical problem.
That's all right. I'll cut that bit out.
Back. Thank you. Okay. Merde, I tried to have Vicky as well. So you had something on your voice, callus?
I'll start. I'll wait till you settle and then I'll restart.
Okay. Voilà.
Yeah, so it's like calluses that you get on your hand. It's on your vocal cords, and then it really, I mean, at one point, like I lost my voice completely. So my point is, though, talking about being reliant on your hands to work. So I was reliant on my voice. Like I did sales. Like if I couldn't speak, I couldn't sell. And even now, even as a teacher, like I lost my voice a couple of times, which wasn't too bad. I maybe missed one lesson, I think, because of it. But then now as a comedian and a podcast host as well. So luckily I don't overwork my voice, but I'm still vulnerable to it. So if I get really tired, like if I go quite a while without getting good sleep because I'm busy or something like that, or it can come back. So normally about once a year, I'll completely lose my voice. But luckily these days, not for very long. So how did you went from studying graphic design in Spain, working for a magazine?
Mm-hmm.
Where did the tattoos come from? And I'm actually surprised to see that you're not covered in tattoos.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I have a few small ones and yeah. And I did them myself.
Wow.
And this one, my teacher did it for me. And yeah, I don't have so many tattoos because I also work like an actress, kind of.
Right. So you need to keep it kind of clean.
I cannot. Right. I mean, when I'm in a few years, I'm gonna be too old to get any job. So then I can get tattooed up. But for now, I don't, because I do some background acting. So yeah, I was doing it in Spain also. And I do it here sometimes because it's very nice. It's like school trip with the kid from the back of the bus. That's how I feel, because they say, okay, you get the job, and then they take you somewhere with a bunch of people. You're in the bus and you meet new people, and you just wait, and then they're like, okay, now you do this, okay, you're finished, and they give you food and drink, and they're so nice with you. It's nice because otherwise I'm always at my studio drawing or tattooing, and I like to go out and meet people as well. So.
And what is it you're doing, like extra work, like in the background, or you're actually acting?
It depends. Usually extra, but sometimes also in the front. Actually, maybe you saw me, the VUS?
Yeah, that's cool.
Not so long ago, I did an advert for VUS where I'm an alien. I'm green. I'm like, I don't know if you've seen it.
I have no. I don't watch too
Anyway.
many ads for VUS, to be honest.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't see many ads for anything, to be honest. Either. Oh, the dog is so cute.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, but what I was gonna say, once you start to get fully tatted up, like you said, maybe when you're older, then you can get cast as like an aging punk rocker, you know?
yeah, I guess. But it's like a niche.
Yeah.
And my niche, okay, I have a niche. My niche is I'm a scientist, because if you put some glasses on my face, I look very smart, and then I'm a doctor, and I've done a lot of ad in Vietnam for Corona, for this, for that, you know, as a doctor or a scientist, because I look smart with some glasses, which doesn't mean that I am. But...
That's so funny because, you know, a friend, I don't know if you know, a guy called Lex Hall, who's a bit older, maybe in his 50s. He's an actor here as well. And he does a lot of, I think, kind of extra work too, or acting as well. And it's all the same. It's almost like a running joke. He posts every time he has a new gig, and it's just like, doctor.
Yeah, me
doctor.
too.
Just one after that. And he sometimes posts pictures from the set. It's just always him in a white coat.
Also, especially now, I put on weight, so I cannot really do the model job. So I can only do the mother, or the teacher, or the scientist, basically.
So what would be my niche, do you think? What niche would I be? Should I, if I take my glasses off?
I think you could also be a scientist, huh?
Yeah.
But with the glasses, better. I mean, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, you just need like the white, you know, the white coat.
Yeah. As soon as you get the white coat, that's it, right?
Yeah.
So quickly, just quickly tell me through, you traveled all over the world. Where did you go to, and then how did you end up in Saigon?
But Saigon, it was very random. So my ex-boyfriend, his sister was living here, and she was making chocolates. And so at first, the idea was we were gonna come and open a shop where she can make chocolate and I can make tattoo. And but then we broke up, and voilà, life, quoi. But that's how I ended up here in the beginning. And he decided to move, and I liked it here, so I decided to stay. And voilà.
Nice. And so you built up quite a reputation then for your tattoos.
Yeah, I'm very lucky. I'm not sure how, but people are recommending me, so I'm very grateful about this as well.
Has anyone ever asked you to do a tattoo, given you the drawing, and you're just like, no, I can't? Not because it's too difficult, just because you're like, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, but I don't say that. I said that I'm too busy, or I find other excuse. I don't tell people if I don't like what they want. But if it's very bad, then I prefer not to do it, because it's not gonna. How do you say? It's not a good advert for me, you know.
So if anyone's listening, you've just told them your secret. If they ask you to do a tattoo and you say you're too busy, then now they know it's a lie and it's just a terrible tattoo.
Yeah. Well, maybe then they have some time to think a bit more. I mean, I know. I met a Singaporean that had a Nazi tattoo. So you know.
He had a what? Sorry.
Nazi.
Oh,
like a real Nazi tattoo, like how do you call it? The eagle?
Oh shit. I was gonna say it's not just the symbol for Buddhism.
No.
Wow.
No, but he didn't really know. He got it when he was a teenager, because he wanted to be a dick to his parents, and he didn't really know the meaning, and he didn't want it to remove it because he wanted to remember how stupid he was.
So, at least there's a story to it, and then at least he's learned something from it.
And it's on his leg or something, so you cannot really see it anyway. But because I'm very sensible to tattoo, I always notice.
Well, so look, tell me just briefly, what's your time been like then in Vietnam? You've been here about the same time as me, 5 years. I've seen massive changes in Vietnam in that time. And I've grown myself as well. I mean, my life has changed. 360 degrees or 180 degrees since I got home.
So, but when I arrived, I told you I had opened a small studio with my friend that was making chocolate. And later I had a studio at my place. And then something crazy happened that I was on the road to go to Dalat. No, I was on the road coming back from Dalat and driving. And I was not very looking at the road. I was a bit like in my thought. But there was a truck with a piece of metal coming out of it. And the truck started to brake, but I was on the side of it. And the guy that was before me, he saw that I didn't see, that the guy was, and I was gonna get like, the metal thing in my head. So he honked and I dodged it, and I said, oh fuck, I should follow this guy, to thank him. And my ex-boyfriend was also with us, driving behind. Anyway, so I started to follow this guy. Eventually, he understood that I was following him, and there was some traffic, and he told us, "Oh, come this way." Like he knew like the shorter way and everything. Super nice. Anyway, later we stopped and I bought him some coffee to thank him, and we skipped driving together. Later, my ex-boyfriend had an accident, and then he drove all the way back to our place with us. He helped us to fix the bike like a little bit. It was super nice. It was during Tet holidays, so it was like very complicated. Everything was a bit like closed. And then when we arrived at my house, we had no food because we had been gone for 3 weeks. So then he was like, "Oh, I have food from my family, from like his family from Tet, like so he shared this food with us." And I thought, wow, this guy is so nice, like that's crazy. Anyway, and then 1 year later, we stay in contact with Facebook, like Happy New Year, Happy Birthday, whatever. And then 1 year later, he sent me a message and he's like, "Hey, I have a new place that I want to show you. It's in Taojian, blah, blah." So I'm like, yeah, sure. I'm not sure what you want, but I mean, since he's a nice guy, I'm like, yeah, sure, okay. So then the day after, he come to my house and he's with his baby and his wife, and he's like, "Okay, come with me. It's only 5 minutes away." And I'm like, okay, I drive behind him. And I arrived to this place and it was amazing. It was the tattoo studio of my dream, I dream of a place like this, like a garden and a swimming pool and I had a small room in the back, to do my tattoo. And he was like, "Oh, do you want it?" And I was like, "Yeah, like for sure, like it's a dream come true." So I dream of this place and I got it like this, no effort. Anyway, and then Corona came, and some people, and this place, it was like 2 big houses that they were renting like service apartments, but a bunch of the people in those houses, they couldn't afford to pay their rent. So then they didn't pay their rent, and the owner of the place, my friend, he got in trouble because he didn't have money to pay. So eventually we all got kicked out because of this. And now they made the school instead. And now I'm back. I have my studio at my house again. And also I decided last month that I want to go back to France because I have not been back for 3 years because of Corona. And for me, it's just ridiculous now. At this point, it's like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, I don't even want to be here. If I could, I would be home already, but I'm waiting for the paper for my dog. So in October, on the 10th, I'm flying out.
Oh no, we're losing another one.
Yep. No, but it's pointless for me to be here because I lost maybe 30-40% of my customers were tourists. And another 30-40% are expats. The tourists have left and the expats are leaving. A lot of my good customers are leaving one after the other, and not so many new ones are coming. So I still have work, but not so much. And also I miss my family so much. It's ridiculous. I'm like, if I'm not even working so much, and why am I here? It's like,
yeah,
it's not good anymore for me. So maybe if when they reopen, I will think of coming back because I love it here. The people, the everything, the lights, I like everything. But now I just need to see my family.
It's a really difficult time right now for anyone who doesn't maybe know the context. Obviously, Vietnam has been paradise almost for since Corona started. We've had a couple of small lockdowns, but pretty much back to normal. You know, for not for everyone. Like I'm not not sugarcoating it. We obviously lost all tourism. So even for me, like my comedy shows, we used to have comedy shows in the heart of downtown, which were my first comedy show was designed for tourists. It was called the Where You From comedy show, and we had tourists come in every night. They were just there for one night. And that was the whole premise was you ask people where are you from, and we had people from all over the world came to the shows. So now since tourism's finished, the amount of people at our shows have gone down. As you mentioned, expats are leaving. We've had lockdowns, so it's been really
no, and especially now this lockdown, especially like I mean, a lot of people they tell people don't go out, but if you try to order food, you have to wait 2 weeks. And the bakery is closed. I have to make my own bread. It's like, I mean, we are not even allowed to walk the dogs. I mean, in France, there was a very strict lockdown, but people were still allowed to walk their dogs. There were still food. I mean, no, it's a bit too much now.
Yeah, with the whole dog thing and not being able to exercise is a bit strange because every other lockdown I've seen in the world, you could leave the house for an hour a day to exercise. So now not being able to do that, and that includes walking the dog, which is obviously
and at least I cannot complain really because I have a garden, so I'm like very, very lucky. But my dog, she's so mad at me. She's so mad at me. Like she don't understand because normally we go to the park every morning and I do some gym and she like walk around whatever. And now she's just like she go to the door and she look at me and she bark like what the fuck? And I'm like trying to play with her, but she don't even want to play with me. But it's like
We're very lucky. So a lot of regular listeners and viewers will know our dog Biscuit, little French bulldog, and she is so lazy. She is loving this. She just sleeps all day, and she gets like some energy a couple of times a day, but she's happy to just run around the apartment. She's only like 10 kgs. So we're quite lucky with that. But yeah, I mean, it's tough because that's what I've heard from quite a lot of people saying, you know, they've stayed in Vietnam all this time, they've loved it, and it's difficult choice to go home in the last year when we're in the middle of the pandemic and the rest of the world has been
because
so bad.
last year, you know, I didn't want it to go back because I was thinking, I cannot. What if I bring some virus to my family and somebody, you know, like I was like, no way. But now my families are all vaccinated. So there is no real risk. I can go back and get vaccinated too and travel again. Voilà, quoi.
Well, that's it. We don't.
I don't think I will come back to Vietnam because I don't want to do the quarantine. So maybe I come back when the quarantine is off. Otherwise, I go to another country because there is still a lot of country open. So for vaccinated people.
I've done the quarantine. You don't want to do it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm doing the quarantine now at my house. It's already like hard. Alors, imagine in a hotel room alone, quoi.
I mean, I didn't do quarantine in a hotel room. I did quarantine in a government camp. That's a whole different story. But anyway, we'll move on. We'll finish up now with the final questions that I ask everyone at the end of every episode. So my first question is, have you tried durian?
Yes.
And? I
have tried durian. Actually, my friend invited me to her family in the countryside and it was great. They were super nice. And then they were like so excited and they go to this tree and bring me this huge fruit. And I'm like, oh, what is that? And it smells so weird. And they start to cut it and they're like so like excited. And I'm like, trying to be polite because obviously it was an honor for me to get that durian. But it was horrible. And they give me a big piece and I cannot, tell them that I don't like it. So I'm like, and I finished that piece and they wanted to give me more. I'm like, oh no, please, like I really you finished so much already. Like I was like, oh la la, I'm gonna be sick in my mouth or something. Anyway, so yeah, I ate it and
it's like torture by courtesy. Like you're being tortured because you're giving them the courtesy of being like, oh yeah,
because they give me the honor of sharing this fruit, so I cannot be like a dick and be like, oh, it smells like shit, I'm not eating that. I mean, you have to be polite sometimes. So yeah.
So next question. Now you live in Tao Dien as well, so I'm hoping you're going to
Yes.
have a good answer for this because this is where this question comes from. I see so many cars with outlandish paint jobs these days, and the example I give to everyone and every week is I saw a bedazzled Mercedes outside my building a couple of months ago. What is the most crazy car you have seen here in Vietnam?
The gold car.
The gold one.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
also I like. Also, there is one in Tao Dien. How do you call this color? I mean, it's like pinkish, but it's also silver at the same time, and it has sparkle in it. It's like, what the fuck is that? Why would you choose that color? I mean, okay, you choose it, nobody else is gonna have it. Like, you can always recognize your car in the parking, but wow, like a car for a princess, you know, like Barbie princess.
Yeah.
Voilà, that's
crazy,
probably the funniest I've seen.
Now, what's something that happens in France that would be looked at strangely in Vietnam?
I think maybe what would look weird compared to Vietnam. Maybe people. Maybe waiters being very rude. You know?
Is that normal
French
here
waiters?
or normal
No,
in
no,
France?
no. In France, you have a lot of times some people are pretty rude in general. You know, like in France.
Okay,
and like
all right.
grumpy and always complaining.
The
And
wait
here, you know,
staff.
people they have nothing and they never complain. Huh?
Did you say the waiter complains, or you just general people? You mean?
No, I mean, you know, like maybe sometimes waiters in France can be very rude.
Yeah.
But in Vietnam, usually they are very nice, you know, like maybe they are not very efficient, but they are always smiling and polite, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, I think that would be that. And for the opposite, I would say the ladies that wear pajama or anybody wearing pajama in the street. I mean, you wouldn't really see that in France, but I think I'm gonna try to bring a trend because I really enjoy like wearing pajama. It's just comfortable, especially now with the lockdown. Okay, today I'm dressed for you.
Thank you.
Because I've been wearing my pajama for a while. Actually, my friend that live in the same building asked me the other day, like, "Do you ever change?" Fuck you! Yeah, I have a few pajamas that I wash and change.
Yeah, no, I pretty much rotate through two pairs of like gym shorts that I have, and my wife is like sick of them. Like, this is a nice t-shirt I've put on as well. Like, I'm normally in like a baggy t-shirt and a pair of like I'm still wearing my gym shorts right now. I'm not going to show people, but yeah, but the pajamas thing, like that makes me laugh so much because I see it all the time as well. Like I said, I went to the store the other day because you are allowed to go to the store, so I had to go to the store to pay a bill, otherwise the electricity was going to get cut off. And there was 3 different girls in the mini stop, all in their pajamas, and I was like texting my wife. I was like, pajamas everywhere today. Like,
I've been to nightclubs with ladies with fancy pajama.
No,
like pajama with strass pajama. Yeah, what was it? Rooftop, Sky 20. Sky
what?
20. Yes, there was ladies and they had their best pajama with strass and stuff. I was like, wow, like I totally like told them that they were looking cool because I like it.
Wow. I mean, yeah, I think it's crazy when I see them go to like the supermarket. I didn't know they go to the mall. I mean, yeah, I saw this girl the other day. She had like a silk robe
nightclub pajama. You're ready to go to sleep.
It's not a bad idea, right? It's not bad.
Hey, did you bring your toothbrush? Yes, and my pajama.
I love it. All right, last question. What piece of advice would you give to yourself 5 years ago before you came to Vietnam?
Yeah, just don't worry, I would say. I would say to myself, don't worry, it's all gonna be fine.
I think it's good advice.
Yeah.
It's always be fine in the end, right? What was
Yeah.
it? One of the favorite quotes I've ever heard was, "If it's not okay, it's not the end."
Yeah. From Rick and Morty.
Oh no, I've
No?
heard that quote years before Rick and Morty ever existed. They must have taken it from someone else. It was probably some French
No, because it's
philosopher.
like, what is it? It's like everything is gonna be fine in the end, and if it's not fine, it's not the end. Something like this.
Yeah, that's the one.
I mean, I saw a meme with Rick and Morty with that. Because I'm also very. Ah, wait, I forgot to say about this. I have a big passion for meme, and I also have a meme page where I share funny memes and also funny Tinder conversation. And it's called Obsessed Meme
All
on
right,
Instagram. If you're bored.
I'm gonna follow that. I'll put a link for it in the show notes and in the in the comments below. So we'll make sure we check that out.
Because I have so much meme. I always screenshot the meme that I like, but I have not so much memory in my phone. So I thought, fuck, I need to delete stuff, but it hurt me to delete them. So I thought, okay, I make a page so I can have them somewhere. So,
that's awesome. Just for yourself. You're just using it as a photograph depository.
I have a few friends that follow me, like my good friends. They really enjoy it.
Awesome.
And actually, they share it. They're super excited about it. They're always sharing my memes and stuff. Like they think I'm gonna be famous for it or something. I don't really think so.
I'll go and follow it. I'll go and follow it as soon as we've done.
One more follower. I'm on 11.
But you have to follow 7 Million Bikes page as well.
Okay, I'll follow you back.
Now,
even my dog will follow you.
Well, my dog has its own Instagram page as well.
Yeah, my dog has her own Instagram too. That's why I'm saying she's gonna follow you too.
Biscuit the Bat Pig. So I know you're going to be leaving in October. This is we're in the mid-July right now. Tell people watching and listening, where can they, if they can get a tattoo from you before they go, or if they can follow you?
Hopefully they can.
How can they get?
Hopefully, they can contact me on my Facebook page, Camille Ink, or Instagram, Camille Ink. They can contact me and tell me what they want. I will draw for them, and whenever I can reopen, I can tattoo them.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I'll hurry up and get my wife to redo my tattoo, and I can send you the drawing and see if you can redo it for me.
Sure.
Awesome. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your lockdown. Hopefully, you've got some nice French wine waiting for you.
Yeah. But not every day. What day is it today? Oh, fuck it.
I don't even know what day it is.
No, I'm joking.
I don't even know what time it is. Doesn't matter anymore. Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't matter. Like my friends are like, oh, where you get up so late? Like, anyway.
All right, we'll take it easy. I'll hopefully see you in person. We'll introduce the dogs to each other when we're out of lockdown.
Yeah, maybe my dog needs a muscle because she's a dick, but yeah, sure.
All right, take it easy. Cheers.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So thank you so much again. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this. We'll be posting all of our podcast episodes here for now. Go on Facebook and Instagram, give them a like and follow us. And if you did enjoy this and you want to make sure that we can keep producing this content, please go to patreon.com/7millionbikes or coffee.com, ko-fi.com, and it's in the content, in the caption below, and you can buy me a coffee or a beer or become a member of 7 Million Bikes. So I hope you enjoyed that episode. Leave your comments below. Cheers!